Hey, welcome to Super Awsome Designs, where if you've been following my series, you'll know that this is a bench. It's a shelf, which is going to go for that table way over yonder. I've got every bit of how to make this table in a series. Sorry about that, guys. And so I just want to go over very quickly what you're seeing here. Essentially, what you're seeing here is the setup for biscuit joining. This is a Dewalt biscuit joiner, and he does one thing wonderfully: makes cavities in the side of wood. And so, essentially, the setup is quite basic and intuitive. You can set this, and look the videos up that I explain how to use this thing. I'm just going to move on. Okay. So the first thing we need to think about is placing our biscuits along the edge of the wood that's going to be joined up. I am actually using a lot of biscuits, especially near the ends, more biscuits near the end. I want to make sure that everything is going to go in and stay where it should once I start gluing up. Okay, so generally speaking, your end biscuits, you want them to be in a little bit more than you would think, because you don't want those biscuit joinery to be revealed somehow, and that's happened to me in the past. Mind you, everything is fixable. So with this Dewalt DW682, you get 3 size biscuits, at least I do, and I'm using the smallest one, which is a 0. Okay, so we have this guy here, 0, and then 10 and 20. I'm going to move these aside. And basically they make it so easy. You just set the dial to the desired biscuit, which is here, which is already set on 0. Okay, and you're ready to go there. So having marked out where these biscuits are going, I can now go on to the next step and explain. So as we move the biscuits away, you're going to see that I marked out where those biscuits are going to go. All right, so we can remove the biscuits and go on to the next step, next phase. Now, this is tricky biscuit joining, not super tricky and hard, but I've not had to join 2 pieces of wood that's offset like this is. And so you'll see what I mean. So I need to figure out where this piece of wood here is going to go into this piece of wood. So what I did, and it's approximately ½ an inch, a little more than ½ inch thick. So I drew a line. I'll take you off the mount. I drew a line in the middle of this board and matched it over to wherever this would fall on this board. And what you can see is, well, maybe, that there is more space. Let's take this off. On the bottom as on the top. And I'll decide which way is going to be best when I set it on under the table here when I fasten it. So essentially, what I need to do, now that I have these established, I can unclamp the unit and then just simply by hand draw a line across the areas. Just take your time on that, and you should be just fine to do that freehand. So I know where this guy goes. He goes right here. So I'm just going to take my pencil like this and then slide it down. Slide it down. Now let's see how far off. We actually veered off the line. So instead of doing it by hand, what can we do? we'll set this guy over here. We can take some a marking gauge, okay, and we've used this before. We'll show you different methods. Some are going to be more exact and accurate, like using this guy here. This is a Veritas scribing gauge. So I'll set this exactly where this line is, and then we're going to scribe that line across. Okay, just setting them in there. We'll lock it in. Okay. Now, I think if that board weren't so long, I would have been okay with doing what I did freehand. All right. So I'm just trying to take the best care to know that that's going to be where it needs to go. All right. So we'll go ahead and we'll scribe that across, like so. This is oak. Oak is pretty tough, so I'm going to want to do this a few times, right? And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to trace that line with a pencil. Okay? Well, that's right on. That's what I want to see. It met the other line, okay? So again, let's go several times here. Enough so I can get that pencil into that groove there. I tell you what, oak is so hard, and it's got so many lines going on that it's hard to tell where your lines are in general. Okay, so, and it can hit one of those the grain and wander off your line, so you really got to be careful, and don't be in a hurry. So I'm feeling more confident here, seeing a mini valley in there, so to speak. And we're going to go ahead and take our pencil and very carefully make it a little more visible for the naked eye to see. I could feel the line actually, so we'll start off perhaps like this. There we go. See, that's giving me a level of confidence that I certainly didn't have when you saw me try to do that by hand, you know, just freestyling it there, winging it. It's important, this step is important. You want this marking to be very exact, because you're going to be placing your biscuits in there. All right, I'm going to pause you, and just know that I'm going to be scribing the middle of this line as well on both ends, so I know where the biscuits are going to go in there. And then when we unpause, you'll see the biscuit joiner in action, hopefully.